right, all right, all right. All right, good evening. Actually, yeah, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Knowledge in Relationships Live Talk. This is your boy, M3, and we're going to have another special, wonderful guest. But before I bring her up, go ahead. I'm going to play some jazz music, okay? We're going to make sure we get the mood into the right. And let's see how many people we got. We got 3 people so far watching on the Knowledge Relationship side on YouTube. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Now, tonight's live talk will be featuring Miss Divine Dani Presents. Okay. So let's go ahead and give her a special shout out to her, everyone. Miss Dani, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Okay, awesome. Glad that you are doing wonderful. Now, before I also continue, right, with our conversation, I also got to bring in, okay, one of the homies, or you can bring yourself in, Mr. Best in the World 84. Salutes to the brother, all right?
What's going on? Salute to Divine Dani. I'm glad my sister is here. She's here to bless us with some blessings, man. I'm very encouraged and excited. M3, what's going on, baby? Let's get it.
All right, yeah. What's up, man? All right, cool. All right, yeah, let's definitely get it. So, Divine Dani, all right, thank you, for tuning in, for joining Knowledge and Relationships for tonight's live talk. And I'm looking forward to getting to know you and the things that you do. So, let's go ahead. We're going to just get these questions started, all right? So, we got like a couple of, personalized questions, and we also have, relationship questions as well, too. So let's go ahead and start off. So the first question is, right, if you could please tell me about yourself, can you please share like your background and how you became known as Divine Dani Presents?
Well, I am an alumni, bachelor's degree held, social work psychology major, Bennett College for Women that's in Greensboro, North Carolina. And my sister friend actually with Facebook was welcome to my life. She added me and she created my account as Divine Dani, representing what she knows me as and what me being the goddess that I am, representing God, and just on that account, I always have been doing music. I always been in choir in and out of church and school. But when I really found my voice, that was when I was pregnant and I gave birth to my son. And one of my idols being Lauryn Hill. At the time, I related to the song Zion, and that spoke to me to where I couldn't no longer hide under my voice, under poetry, and I really had to put it out there. And on the other side of love, there's fear, So just doing that, stepping on what I always believed in. One of my biggest idols was Whitney Houston, and just finding my own happiness within myself as a child was always music, and I always knew that was my voice. And I always knew that I had the choice to put it out there or not, but when I did, I always received that it was healing music and inspirational, and that's all I can ever produce, So always in the heart of gratitude, I'm Divine Dani, my name is Danielle, but I go by Divine Dani because that's what I rock in everything I do. I wear in my heart.
And that's very beautiful.
That's kind of
No. I appreciate just for you by sharing this. Before I give my take onto it, we're having some technical issues with the YouTube side. The chat cannot see your face. We can see your face on StreamYard, but it's always this little kind of glitch where we can see the avatar of you, but on the chat side who's watching you, they can't really see the avatar. Let me try to see if I can refresh you real quick. Hopefully that helps. Let me see. No, that didn't work, but it's okay. They'll get to know you like at least like through like IG, unless if you decide you want to you wish your cam up. But yeah, like music really does play a huge part. I feel like in a lot of people's lives, whether if consciously they are aware of it or not. Oh, okay, cool. Shouts to you for doing so. But yeah, yeah, music definitely help change. Like sometimes it saves lives, sometimes it changes people for the benefit, and sometimes it could be a little bit destructive, like depending on what you listen to and who you're listening to. But for the most part, music definitely plays a big role and has a heavy influence.
Man, definitely. Hey, got to take a pause real quick. You know what I'm saying? Salute to Miss Nebraska. Miss Nebraska, I see you in the building. What's going on, Cornhusker? Also, salute to Lady Phoenix. Lady Phoenix had me laughing earlier. She sent me some encouragement and some love. Salute to you, Lady Phoenix. I see you. And yes, with that being said, make sure you follow Miss Nebraska on Twitch. She said, "You can a crown and." So and I see Divine Danny got the piano in the background. All right, I see the sofa and all that. I see you. I see how you living. I see you. Mm-hmm. But okay, so what I was gonna say is, based on like everything the thing that you share with us, right? I really can tell that you are really about, what I'm saying, allowing your voice to just be heard and let it be heard. Salute to Wally. I see you, brother. Let your voice be heard completely. What gave you the courage to do that? Like, what were the things that you faced within your life and within your journey that just gave you the courage to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna say what I need to say, and I'm gonna say it the way I need to say it.
That's some good questions.
It was the pain. It was the pain that was the biggest blessing, I would say, because I'm a go-getter, and I don't make excuses, and it's a fire that burns in you if you choose not to let it out, and for me, there was a lot of things, everything. I had to fight for everything I had to have. So even as easy as it came to do my poetry, I knew I had to, I knew I had to let that voice out in the way it was healing and not afflicting pain on others, I found when I was younger, I had a lot of cuss words. My mom was like, stop cussing so much. I'm like, well, but it is shit. It is. You know what I'm saying? Because my first books were slavery. And I had a thing about white supremacy when I found out about it, And so I always wanted to create something of the love I feel inside to show others, And I got knocked down so many times to where I didn't want to continue it because it's a hard game out there in the music, And a lot of it stole my music. And after producer until I found out engineers are what you want, Engineers ain't going to mess with you because they can really mix and master. There was just all the adversity that I faced brought more healing and not more anger, if you know what I mean. Like, just walk forward. It suffices that burn inside of you, because when you have anger and trauma, it lives in you. You know what I'm saying? And if I can do it for another sister of mine, or little girls and boys, just to have their identity of just their voice, times where if I didn't speak, the enemy tried to like really take my voice away. And that's kind of what just made me like, this is it. I'm not like no one else. I really have what it takes, and that's why it kept trying to take for me. So it was just maybe the more pain and thieves, if so to speak, the more things happen to me. It just burned that tenacity, you know. And it's I'm a freestyle artist because it's really when I open my mouth, you know, when I hear a beat, and mostly like acoustic, I sound the best. I rather not have a beat nowadays, you know, because it's just like more of it comes out authentically, and I'm not feeling the energy of that producer who probably made that beat. So, you know, because it comes in your head. Well, for me, this is my gift. It comes in your head when the music starts playing. You know, you can hear the whole song, but you're like, is that song for someone else to say? You know, is that someone else's pain that I could be the voice to? Whereas, you know, you have acoustic, you're with them while they're playing it, and you're in the journey with them as their mind goes and your mind goes, you know. So I like that authenticity, and I always want to keep that, you know.
Man, I appreciate the no. I appreciate the honesty and like your experience, like the good and the bad. You actually kind of answered a couple of questions that I was going to say for a minute, but one thing I will say is this: you know, we've all been through times where we produce content, and you know we're still a development YouTube channel, so we haven't even reached to our peak. But then you have people, right, who's already up on the climax. They'll spy through, like, you know, people's like YouTube shows. They may not comment, they may not like, they may not say anything, but they know when to or how to kind of steal certain content creators' content and then just use it for their advantage without giving credit. And since YouTube is pretty much like an open space where you're almost kind of free of doing what you want to do to develop your content, besides the lack of freedom of speech here, like anybody could just rip off something and just to try, like, you know, make a profit or just try to claim it as their own. So I'm not surprised, like, when people see quality talent that you have or music and they just want to just take that or take bits and samples of it. What I do want to ask, right? Because I want to dig into like the genre of type of music that you do, just for the people in the chat, because I know you mentioned music and kind of like our conversation before we went live. You mentioned about poetry.
And three. So, if I may, I just need to ask one more thing before we jump into the music, because I know the music is going to be a whole different segue. So I just wanted to ask this real quick. You said I got two questions real quick. So are you born and raised in North Carolina?
No, I'm born and raised in Sacramento, California. I went to school in North Carolina. I just got back from Georgia. I left to California about 4 years ago. Well, now exactly 6 years ago, because I was there for 4 years, me and my son, to pursue music. So when the connections I had here and seeing where it really can go, of the offers that I had with labels, I knew like I could go out there. The thing with that, and that's why I advocate for single mothers, you know what I mean? Because we can get taken advantage of. I remember being in the studio all night, picking my son up to go to school in the morning. And I'm dedicating that time that I don't have. You know what I mean? Still taken away. Because when your heart's in it, you like, man, I know I got this. I'm going every beat. I'm doing full songs. And I don't get nothing. But it showed me that no one could take the authenticity that I carry in me saying those lyrics. It just can't be taken. So you could take it and it probably will go somewhere, you know what I mean? And they'll still be touched, you know? And that's the mission. It's really, you know, it's less about me. It's like, it's really about so someone else can turn their pain to power, you know? So I make sure all like my songs like may tell the story, it may go down the slope, but it always ends high, you know. And yeah, that's just who I am, you know. It's
Gotcha. Okay, so my last question before we get into the music, I really sense a very, very, like, I see your strength. Like, I see that you're very, very strong, right? So in your strength and in the fact that your personality is strong, at times, are people intimidated by you? Because I go through that myself. People get intimidated, you know, at work or online or wherever, right? Do you feel like at times people would get intimidated by your energy and by the aura that you have?
That's a good question.
All the time, because people assume, and I still am in some parts naive, you know, because you can't connect with someone when you think you know it all, you know. If you have to kind of come down, and I just try to connect to me. Seeing that helps me, actually, you know what I mean? It helps me humble myself, you know what I mean? To come down and pick them up. I'm just given that gift, you know what I mean? To where you're gonna smile talking to me even if you hate me, you know, because if I only see love, then that's all you're gonna feel, you know what I mean? And that's any interaction, because I was in that pain the same way they were, and I didn't know what to do with it. But my thing was laugh it off or smile it off, but inside I wasn't. And now it rejuvenates from me because I'm healed, you know? So now I'm able to produce healing music and not leave that song in or poem, because it's poetry. Most of my songs are written in a poem format, and it, you know, it just comes out that way. But yeah, gratitude for this platform, you know, because this is very much so in alignment. I watched one you guys sent me today, as a matter of fact, and the subjects about God are just like my personal note of connecting to everyone, you know what I mean, to talk about these things, you know. But that's a whole other thing. It's just I can't leave that out, you know.
Yeah,
I can't leave that out, and how it was always spirit led, you know. It wasn't to be boastful. It still isn't, and hopefully never it will be, you know. But if you reach one person, that one person can reach another person, you know, and that's just it. You know, I'm working on a now, and it's the fear or love, you know. If people think it's evil or love, but really when somebody's so in pain, you know, then them demons just could come, you know. And I just hope that my music, or even how I speak, you know, because I know it doesn't come off like that. It doesn't come off like, oh, they probably think I have like this light voice and I'm just such passive. No, I'm not passive aggressive, because when I believe something, I stand on it, you know, and I still stand on it 20 years from then, you know. The same things I stood on then, I stand on now, and that's kind of how the journey happened. It was just stepping out was more favor.
Wow.
Wow.
Man, that's.
I got another question, but we're gonna get into the music. Well, now I'm gonna save it.
well. Before we even continue, Mr. Best, I got a major shout out coming, like Sophisticated Jerk's way. So, because, you know, Sophisticated Jerk took his time to not only just tune into the, like, you know, tonight's live stream, but also give another donation of $10. So, Sophisticated Jerk, you know the deal. Let's go ahead and play the super chat song, okay?
Your viewership of the stream is highly valued, and we appreciate the support. If you would like to contribute to the platform, you can do so by sending a super chat, super sticker, Cash App, or PayPal donation. Thank you for the kind gesture. Appreciate the donation. I can't thank you enough.
I'm rich, bitch!
Salute again. Many thanks to the sophisticated jerk. Thank you for the $10 donation.
That is so funny. What up, sophisticated jerk, man? Make sure y'all follow Sophisticated Jerk and Manic on these social media platforms. They got some new stuff brewing. Check them out. All right. So yeah, thanks for the donation, brother. We appreciate you.
Yeah, as always, my brother. So thank you very much. Man. Okay. So all right, so cool. So Dani, I know you I definitely understand, like, you know, when it comes to having a strong personality that not a lot of people could really handle. And sometimes, like, we could kind of look down on our own selves thinking, like, well, what's wrong with us and some sort of things. But I understand that for you look at it as if, like, okay, it's an experience where, you know, I got to humble myself down just so people don't take things like the wrong way about your character. And I know for me, like, you know, sometimes I can have a strong type of personality where maybe people may not be able to relate to me that well. So I understand where you're coming from. So I just appreciate you for just being transparent with us in any question we ask. And salutes to E-Man Williams. So thank you for tuning in as well.
Man, what's up, man?
Appreciate it. I guess well, Mr. Best, did you have another question before we get to the music part?
Hey, I do.
Go ahead.
My question was, so sis, explain why healing is so important to our people. You know what I mean? Why it's so important to our people, and just why do we need to seek that? I always speak on that. My mom, you know, she comes from a certain background where she just, you know, she needed help in certain areas when it came to healing and mental health and things of that nature. And I had to, you know, make sure that she was taken care of. Even as a teenager, I had to make sure my mom was given certain things, and I had to make sure that she was, you know, fully taken care of because she was in certain facilities and things of that nature. So explain, because, you know, nobody really dealt with the things that was affecting her. You know what I mean? They just ignored it, or they told her just to go to work or just to take care of me. So she never dealt with all the things that was really there on her spirit. You know what I mean? All the things that was in her heart and in her mind. Yeah. And she never got that healing. So it so when it exploded, it just came out in different ways. You know what I mean? And then people just want to classify it as different things, but it's really because she felt so much and she was never healed. So Paris Tri Media Group, what's good, man? Salute to them. Salute to Mrs. He said, she said, what's going on? Salute to them. So can you explain, sis, why healing is so important to our people and to our community?
I have to go back to energy and how trauma is real. Think of it like a person itself living inside of you. And if you don't decompress or take or pull apart limbs, you know, from that to even get to that root, then it will continue on to your children, even if you think that it's not, even people you come in contact with. So if you think about the things that really happen to you being a reason, that's good, bad, and the ugly, and you actually process that for self-growth of how you need to change how you see things, each time you're going to see it clearer. I have a song that kind of says that the man that knows something knows nothing at all. And that means when you get to that point where you think you know it all, don't be closed-minded to receive more, you know? And I guess me being raised by a single mother, that happened because I needed to sit under her and hear her trauma over and over. And what, even before I went to college, I didn't know what I was going to do, but I wanted to understand the mind of why people do what they do, from children, adolescents, and up. Why do we do what they do? But rather than asking my mother why and asking them why, I took it upon myself to read, to put myself in those rooms, to sit under wisdom that had secrets, that didn't want to pass on truth So what can I do? Always live in my truth. I don't care if it's the littlest thing, because that truth, down to my core, is love. So there's nothing they can take from you. And so many times it has, but I'm thankful that it did, because it not just helped me, but everybody in that situation to be free, and live a freedom life. You can choose to live that heaven on earth or whatever, and that's just your perception of how you see stuff. So trauma is real, energy is real, and we pass that down because we have a perception of oppression, and we're not seeing things as though they really are. So that's how my explanation is, for any age, and me being a mother, I take that very seriously, because I always self-reflected, and that's how beautiful music was made. How in the songs I wanted to always bring light, but in my cloudiness, it maybe wasn't light. I felt like me feeling wrong and the anger getting out, that was cool, that because it was relieving me. And there's something called trauma dumping. So I'm not only just out here singing, I'm a social work major. I have a degree in this, and then I went for ECE to learn early childhood education, to where those can happen and where you can change it. What age can they be spoken life into, and never believe anything that comes to them, that the adversity may say. I am that in how I walk, how I talk, and you're definitely going to feel it through the music. But there's times where they want me in a label, I never even sang a note, because of what I do in my personal life, and what I do in my personal heaven. And then I go out into the world. I've done that always, and you might find me, if you ever see me in the city, I'm listening to music, and people are like, why you gotta listen? Because I want them to feel the love I feel. There's so much hurt and stuff out here that if you have that in you, why are you keeping it to yourself? So our gifts are our own, and energy is real. And because that pain was passed down to me from my mother and her mother, I had to choose. Otherwise, I had to put a stop. Said, no more of this. We're not making excuses anymore. How can we look at it different? What can we do in our little selves? What can we do? And that's just any interaction, make it positive. Any interaction, make an effort to say that you care about someone outside yourself. So I think that's why a lot of our households were dysfunctional, because we were all supposed to see something. And, I always rock that. Pain can always turn to power, because, the pain is actually the blessing if you look at it right. So, Divine Danny.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, we need a lot more people like you, because there's so much negativity that's going around in the world. Okay, that we need, and energy is a big component that you believe in, which I also believe that as well too, because it's funny how you have a choice as a human being, despite on how you're feeling at the moment. Like, I could be moody, but if I could make that choice just to exude some type of positive energy, let me tell you how in my perception of energy, how it transitions. If I give positive energy to someone who's probably moody as I am, right at the moment, I'm just saying an example, and I can change a person's mood and make them happy, make them smile. Do you know that energy is automatically going to hit me as well too? I was so I'm a transit driver, so I deal with a lot of kids. Okay, as I transport them from one location to the next. I get tunnel vision when I'm at work. When I'm at work, I'm serious. Okay, I focus, on the task that I need to do. I try not to let no one try to distract me. But I was watching this kid. And yeah, he has like special needs, but it was just like it brought my attention when the kid was so far away. He saw me far away and he was just smiling. He had the biggest smile, eyes squinting like this, and I couldn't help it but to do the same thing. And I thought, like, man, that really made my day. Just by like a young kid just saying hi to me. And I'm just imagining like how his life, people from the outside could be like, oh, woe is him or whatever, right? Because of his condition. But maybe he's living like the best life because his energy is so high. And not a lot of people think about that type of stuff. Salutes to Marcus. I see you in the chat. He says, give positive energy respectfully and make sure to cook more sandwiches. That's what I'm talking about, right? Positive energy and cook sandwiches. And Harrison Tribe Media Group says fire. Make sure you guys do follow the Harris Tribe Media Group. You know, they're dope content creators. You know, they talk about Mr. and Mrs. He said, she said, you know, they talk about the youth. They talk about building a community and environment. And, you know, sometimes like, you know, they talk about like, you know, certain like public schools and how like parents should definitely like try to raise the kids to be better. So, you know, check the channel out though. It's definitely dope. You know, that's my recommendation. But man, like look, Dani, like I appreciate like the energy that you give naturally. I know, well, let me put it like this. I know that you had to make a breaking point, a sound decision, okay, to not follow the trend of negative energy that's compelling around, you know. And I understand, like, you know, when people, they go through their pain, sometimes it just cripples us, you know, like we get paralyzed by our own pain. And I know earlier you mentioned that a lot of people that go through the pain, a lot of times they keep it to themselves. Well, that's societal conditioning. Because when a person's in pain, the last thing they want is to feel the responsibility of spreading that pain to that person. And so that's why people, they choose, unfortunately, to live through that pain in silence. Like Robin Williams, God rest his soul. But we have to also, like, you know, give positivity within our own selves as well too, so we can rejuvenate, you know, and find ways to make sure that we follow a trend or create a trend that can actually spread some life into the society. You may try to spread positivity like out in the public, and people's gonna look at you sideways. And that's on them. But as long as you continue to, like, you know, branch out and keep spreading love to people's souls, someone's gonna listen, someone's gonna look at you, and someone's gonna smile. So,
speaking on that, they used to call me Smiley in church, and then that name kind of followed me in my college, high school, and they didn't know each other, you know. But I remember, I don't know, that was a motto when I was a little girl. I can't remember the age, because this is probably when I thought I could fly. You know what I mean? And I find myself now getting in those daydreams, and I actually am. Like, no, if you know what I mean, like, not so, like, my soul is flying. You know what I mean? Like, the same way you couldn't tell me nothing then, you know, about my visions and stuff. But I just wanted to, anybody I come across, it could be a smile. Sometimes you don't know what to say. Sometimes it's so heavy. You know, that pain is so heavy that you can't do nothing but smile. Well, why would you frown upon that? You know, I always ask myself as a little girl those questions because I saw what I didn't like seeing and what I could do then. And it really was my smile. You know what I'm saying? And it still comes from that place of naivety. It still comes from that place of innocence, you know. And even though all I know now, you know, I want to open my mind up to other people's pain to bring it to positive, you know. So the only way to do that is through love.
Yeah. And that part, I definitely agree to that. Because as long as you keep that energy, like you're eventually loving yourself as well too, naturally. Let me ask you this question. Because and I think this probably be like an obvious answer, right? But what inspired you to like, take it to social media, you know? And I understand from our conversations, you definitely want to make sure that you bring, life and joy to other people. But um when you thought about what made you thought about taking to social media?
Honestly, I was very skeptical about doing that because I
Mm.
was in fear of it taken away. Just when I was holding on to it, it was taken away. So
Mhm.
if I put it out, why would it be? But that was when I realized I used to even do these little freestyles that gibberish when they started taking my music so much, and
Mhm.
where you're saying stuff, but you're not enough for them to understand, but not enough for them to take. And then I was
Yeah.
like, no, I'm not gonna get the message truly out if I'm not articulating like I know I can. You know, that
Mhm.
California love is all about that enunciation, right? So, and so I found myself just not being in fear no more of that, and I'm like, they're taking it and putting it on social media. They remixing it how they can, and I may see some, may not, but I know they have it.
Mhm.
you know
Mhm.
so it's just like, why not show them the real me? Like, it's easy for me
Exactly.
to talk, or it's easy for me to do poetry, but that authentic thing that I kept sacred, now, the more I let out, the more shows came, the more people flocked to me without even speaking. And that kind of was it, like that. Oh wow, the journey came back to me by me being quiet sometimes, and just smiling in a room, like literally, and
Mhm.
just flock to me because that's the inner work. When you put stuff out and you affirm it to come back to you, and you stand on it, you demand it to come back to you. You don't little girl, little boy about it no more. You like, no, I know who I am, and I'm demanding this now. This is mine, and I want it all back. You know what I'm saying? And then you
Mhm.
never really lose anything, because what was then is still now. Like I can make, if I hear those beats fresh, I'm probably gonna make the same thing. But yeah, it's just keep going, because like I
Yeah.
said, that fire just started. Every time I got knocked off, that fire got hard, like more fierce, and you have to let it out.
Right. Right. Well, okay. Let me ask you a few questions. Okay. Well, one, right? Because I know, like, you say you went to sorry, not Stockton, but Sacramento, California, and then you went to other places as you was getting your degrees. Are you back in Sacramento?
Yes, I am. The
Okay,
last two
okay.
years I've been here.
Yeah, we're not that far. Well, I'll say this: we're not that far away. I'll say like maybe like an hour and a half away. Because like I was born like in Oakland, California, like my whole and raised there my whole life, you know. And my homie Mr. Best is definitely he's not from California. Well, actually, I can let him speak for himself. You know.
Yeah, I'm really from Brooklyn, New York. You know what I'm saying? Born and raised. But my family roots are from North Carolina. So when you say North Carolina, it struck a chord. Because both my mom and dad started from North Carolina. And
Mm-hmm.
then I'm on the other side of the 680. I'm in San Jose. So that's where I live now. That's where I reside. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? To all the 680 people, what up? But yeah, so that's my journey. That's where I've been. You know what I'm saying? I got more questions. I'm writing them down. You know what I'm saying? So I'm letting Three Rock out with his questions, and I'm gonna go after that.
Thank you, thank you.
My
All right,
mama's from my mother's from the Bronx. My
oh,
mother's from the Bronx, and my family is also from Alabama. So I guess knowing all that pain, okay, and oppression really was a start. He's younger. you know, because my brother used to always make like songs, and you know, like easy, like just beating on the, you know, stuff. When Mama gone, we can beat on it, you know, and just making little stuff. That was where I figured out poetry, you know, and rapping, or you know, getting it out that way, and just you know, the happiness, like the love in me, it can only come out in a certain way, you know. So yeah.
Okay. Salute to Lola. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, salute to Lola. You know, salute to the Love Experience. Definitely follow Lola at Gamer Dragons TV. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Make sure y'all follow her, like and subscribe, man. Show us some love.
And make sure you hit that notification bell all this time. But yeah. Okay. Well, like, hey, okay, for different parts. Because, you know, man, like, you know, folks like, you know folks from like, you know, the Bronx side, know folks from like, you know, Alabama as well too. So okay. So that's what's up. Dang, what I was gonna ask? I was gonna ask you in dang, there was another question I had, but I kind of forgot because I didn't write my notes into it. But what I was gonna ask, now I remember what I was gonna ask. It relates to like music a little bit because okay, so I know like you're very good, like, you know, as far as like, you know, with like your poetry. Do you make your own music?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. I just want. Okay, that's what's up. Because I just want to make sure, like, you know, I heard you clear because I know you was mentioning you and your brother making music. So, and the way how you make music, right? Do you use like what type of like music program that you use? And salutes to Notorious Ruthless Media. Salutes to my brother.
Since I've been home, I bought my own little recording thing, and it's been difficult because that is not my gift. But Studio 5, one of my older producers, when I got back home, was working with me on learning that, and I just wasn't a thing that pulled me. So I don't make my own music. I write and I make it, but you know, a producer engineer is working with me. But I'm still trying to finish my first album right now. So I have a few songs that I do perform. 11, you know, that I do perform within, and I'm trying to get it fully done into the album. And the next one is hopefully this reggae one, because I'm getting into that more, and affiliating with the community out there. And yeah, that's kind of what I got going on right now.
I get you. So, like, when you start writing, on average, how long does it usually take for you to finish up a poem or anything that you write?
It doesn't take long. I just have to hear the beat. It doesn't take long because I hear it instantly when I hear it. You know, like I don't know how to explain it, but it just comes, and that's like why a lot of these lives were like, wow. Yeah, a lot of these lives on Instagram and stuff, like Galaxy of Poets would like me to perform real quick, but it always is like that, because I feel like where you are right there is where the message is where the healing is, you know? If I'm standing right, you know, I don't know, that's just me, you know? I love that authentic, like, the aura I get from you, or the aura I get from the beat, what is going to be said right there, you know? And when I went to Houston a couple weeks ago, doing that work, that was a piece that I had to create. And it was a rap that I did on the plane. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew they was going to ask me to do something, you know? And so that was more so. And I started off kind of a deeper note, because that is what our ancestors, you know, that's what they had. That's what their voice was. That pain, you know? They didn't have, they gave us their good fruits. They died in that, you know?
Yeah.
And so I want to be good fruit to them. You know, even to our ancestors, they died in this. They couldn't just freely do this stuff, you know. And so I take that seriously. You know,
I
in
like
the
that.
authentic thought process of the beat. Yeah.
Yeah, that creates
know.
like a sense of personal accountability. You know what I mean? Because now it's like, okay, you have a motivational drive to put your music, your voice that's out there. You know, because not only you have in your mind, you have people that's dependent on what you have to say, your energy that's
Yeah.
delivering, but then it's like you have your energy and your faith that's powered through your ancestors to help. It's like a spiritual guide. I don't know if that makes sense, you know, because
No, it
although
is.
physically they're not with us, but spiritually they are, you know. And when we
Yes.
think about our ancestors, like, and how they fought for better opportunity, easier opportunities for us, like we have no choice but to press and push forward. You know what I mean?
Yes. That's exactly how it feels. And when I was sitting in that gallery, I'm just speaking on the experience of Woo and what we're doing, because it is advocating and standing in the gap for sexual assault, and that is mostly what us Black women had to go through, women period. And it's not just about Black women, but also our European descent. They have a job too in this, you know, and that will naturally come in you fulfilling your purpose. The ones that are and the ones that aren't are gonna flock. And this is women we're pregnant, so to speak, and that means we're holding on to whatever positive birthing that we could do, you know, in a healing within our own selves. Anybody, European descent, Asian descent, whatever, you know what I mean? And we divide, but we also have a sacred one for us African American women, so that we can actually create change, and we come together and we go to the water, you know, and cleanse that for our ancestors. But yeah, a lot of those numbers and the numerology and all that, that's our ancestors speaking to us, you know. Like a lot of that stuff is just like, are you really paying attention? Or are you just moving through life? Are you just taking for granted what you're seeing, you know, hearing, and we all have a part, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Mr. Best, I know you have like a lot of things, questions that you want to ask her, so I'm gonna let you rock on this one, my brother.
Thank you. Salute to K Marion, I see you. But I speak about this a lot, yo. Like I speak about how, you know what I mean, how we were colonized and oppressed. I speak about how a lot of our literature, how we develop language, mathematics, science. You know what I mean? I speak about how we are represented around the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's different things symbolically that shows that we are everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Literally, you know. But when we were colonized and oppressed, they stole that away from us. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, I always use this analogy, like, you know, if you have a coin and a magnet, right, and you put them together, right, they automatically are glued together. But in order to get them to not glue together, what do you got to do? You got to separate them, right? So we are separated. You know what I'm saying? We are separated from our origin. We are separated to our glue, to what makes us who we are. You know what I'm saying? And they always want us to get away from that. You know what I'm saying? Everything they do is just to push us away from who we truly are. You know what I mean? And the signs are everywhere. Look at the pyramids. The pyramids are the most organic signs you can look for. They're underwater. They're on land. They're in different countries and regions. You know what I'm saying? But they don't want you to study that. You know what I mean? They don't want you to know that you'll never have the original Bible. That they took out 22 books. They don't want you to know that you know about Almaki and the Emerald Tablets and the foundation of Islam and things of that nature. They don't want you to really delve into it. You know what I'm saying? They don't want you to really know about your true religion and African religion and how, you know, all these religions were stealing from African religion. You know what I'm saying? They don't want you to know these things. You know what I'm saying? So what they do is that everything that comes with us, they demonize it, they make it negative, right? Or they try to turn it evil. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, people talk about twerking. Twerking, what they do twerking now, that's not even original dance. That's an African form of expression. But they took that, the colonizer and oppressor took that, and they made it sexual. It's not a sexual dance. It's not. You know what I mean? If you look at African countries, there are men who dance like that. They do tribal dances like that. And salute Daryl Long. It's a celebration of people transcending. You know what I mean? It's a celebration of birth. So when we look at these things, right, that the colonizer and oppressor has done to our language, to our music, to our people, you know what I mean? I take it seriously too, you know, which is why I'm speaking so profoundly about it. We got to really understand what's being done. You know what I mean? And then once they colonize and oppress us, what do? They give us all these terms, right, that don't fit us. You know what I'm saying? And they give us all these different rules about relationships and about family that don't fit us. You know what I mean? We never got a chance to define what fits us. You know what I mean? Which is in line with one of my questions, which I'm going to get to. But we never, ever got a chance to do that. You know what I'm saying? You know, we never got to say, hey, this is what I choose. This is what I believe. We never got a chance to do that. And every time we try to do that, what they do? You know what I mean? They knock us down. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I know I'm speaking on things.
I guess that's... What's that?
Oh, no, go ahead, sister. I'm listening.
I guess that's why it's necessary to be on platforms and to be on social media, so to speak, if you have that kind of heart or whatever, because a lot of us out here are not getting justice in things or heard, and we need that thing to like give us that And why? Because we're getting poured in so much negativity through our food, okay, through everything, whatever they can do to alter how we think. So if you have even the, you know, the little bit of, you know, positivity, show that, you know. I'm thankful for these platforms, but this is how I walk every day, and it's not really to be seen for me, you know. It's to be heard. You know, I call my music is not, it's not just a sound, it's a feeling. You know, it's how we bring all those feelings, we bring it into a positive light. You know, it can be done. You know, you don't have to just leave it in pain. You know, because what is that going to do for someone else? Everybody goes through pain, but what do we do about it? And a lot of our grandmothers and them before us couldn't do that. Because if you talk to them even now, if you have that opportunity to do so, you would see that they were stuck in that child mind. That child mind, because they didn't have a chance. Their mothers was telling them the same poison that they thought that we had to live in a box. My thing is so out of a box, out of the church. Why are we not out the walls? We are the church. What the heck is the church? When you're not even listening to the community, you're turning the back on the community. You have single mothers out here, poor, you know, fathers out here doing it because the mothers is quitting on them. But what are we doing about it? And that if we're not being positive, you can also see that, you know, those are the ones that need to be helped. But, you know, we're not victims. We're not, I can never have that in my blueprint, so to speak. I can never have that. So, yeah, I guess this is how you flock to me, because that's just me being me, the joy I feel inside, you know? And a lot of that joy does come from anger. A lot of the root. I was an angry child. I used to fight. I used to do so much of that. Because I didn't feel like the adversity was hearing me. So I felt like that was how you did it. If you ain't gonna hear, you're not gonna understand or fathom what I'm seeing, or the white supremacy, or, you know, that's in the schools. Everything is a system, you know, everything is a system. So that's even why now, me being a social worker, I do it out the wall. I do it out in the streets. I do go to churches and I tell them out the walls. You know what I mean? Of any religion, spiritual, anything, because God to you could be God to them if you let people see it. If you keep it all yourself, then is it really? If we're not seeing that on you and we don't feel that aura, are you really doing that in your personal life? No. You know, so the people that are, we are going to do something. You know, we have to. We all have a part. Like, seriously, you know, speak life to our brethren. You know what I mean? Speak life. You don't talk about so much of what negative is happening without bringing it to positive of what we can do. You know. So yeah, I'm very passionate about this. So I mean, I'm honored that, you know, you saw me and I saw you, and I used discernment on if it was for me or something, because a lot of things I don't, you know. A lot of things I don't, because it's not even about being, you know, famous or anything but authentic.
Facts, family, facts. Salute to OG Patrice. OG Patrice, we see you.
OG Patrice.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing too. That, like you said, bringing that because when I see in you, family, I see strength, I see positivity, and I see love. Those are the three elements of you that I see big time. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Strength, positivity, and love. And I think the thing is, what people, we can't be afraid to have solution-based oriented conversations, and we can't be afraid of where that conversation takes us, and we can't be afraid of the consequences of that. We're so afraid and we're so desensitized about what's gonna happen or who ain't gonna hear it or whatever. But no, just let you like the great QueBee says that she was our sister that used to work with us. She transcended, you know what I mean, last year. She just always said, be intentional. You know what I'm saying? Let your message be heard loud and strong. You know what I'm saying? Loud and strong. Let it be heard. You know what I'm saying? So that's the big thing. Let it be heard loud and strong. And, you know, a lot of that strength, that positivity and love to transcend. You know what I mean? And, you know, like you said, you know, your vibe, the great Bolo TV always tells me, he's another content creator. He says, your vibe attracts your tribe. Salute to Willie Dean. Salute, brother.
Salute.
Your vibe attracts your tribe. So, you know what I mean? Our vibes, you know, was definitely aligned, family. And I'm appreciative of you coming up with us. I do have two questions. So let me get to the questions real quick. And it's based on a lot of the rhetoric that we've already talked about, a lot of things we talked about. So my first question is, why do you feel you're still naive about life when it comes to about life, or even when it comes to your musical journey? Why do you still feel like that you're even naive about anything? Because it seems like you know exactly where you're going and who you are. So why do you still feel like you're naive about certain things?
Because I'm still that little girl, like inside, you know, and if I don't have that perception, then I will think that I know it all. And you don't want to get to where your ego, because you're not reaching anybody. So naivety is just, for me, now it's different than it was when I allowed things in to hurt me. You know, I'm so protected. I have a shield. I don't play, you know, but I play, you know, but in the same energy, I don't want to ever feel like I know everything or I understand everything, even in discernment, even things when I feel everyone deserves to be heard, you know, and that's what will inflict on them when I come into compassion or humility, you know, if you know what I mean. Like, it's, you don't know everything. You even through my experiences, that's what I need to see to make a change. That's what I need to, you know, that's what needs to hurt me to be motivated, you know. But that's not someone else's story, you know. And I guess it's that even still, like I just opened up for 19 Keys in this February. I just opened up for last January for Mike Jones, and in both of those songs I didn't get my credit. I'm still getting attacked, so I'm still finding myself, should I show everything or should I not? You know what I mean? Even albums I'm at that is not even mine. You know what I mean? It still happens. But what's going to happen in the end? I'm always going to rise, even when anyone doesn't see it. You know, interactions like this. You know, being divinely led, knowing that this is my words that, you know, you can't take and put into another mouth and have that same effect. You know, so I guess it's humbling myself to receive, because if I don't receive people's pain presently, I can't make new work, you know, I can't flock and make new art if I don't hear. If I'm closed off and I'm only saying it from my experience, you know. So yeah,
Exactly.
I am naive to a lot of things because I'm not. I may see love, you know. I'm just seeing love. You know, if I go to a studio now and I trust a new producer or engineer, I'm only seeing love, but they could be seeing how they can conquer me, right? But in that, the one who thinks like that, who rises in the end. So what is the goal here? The goal is that I just get it out of me, and I produce it in positivity for me, so that in interaction they would know the truth. You know what I mean? And it would eat at them more. If you know what I mean, like, yeah, I'm still naive to the love that I feel.
I think you just need.
That's not how the world is.
I think you need a team of people that are there to support you and to help you. And I think we have a solution to that problem. You know what I'm saying? Like,
always.
Yeah, I think you know we got a solution to that because you know what I mean. We got a solution. I'm not gonna say too much, but yeah. So with that being said, let me get to my other question,
Okay.
right? So speaking on relationships, right? Because I know that's something we got to get into. Do you think our people have a hard time in all our relationships due to the fact that we never chose the style of relationships that we want to have, whether it comes to family, whether it comes to intimate relationships, whether it comes to our children, right, or our peers, or even our siblings, right? We never chose the type of relationship we want to have. We are an indigenous people who are trying to wear the colonizers' clothes. They told us how to get married. They told us what type of household to live in, what foods to eat, where to be, how to work, what to learn, right? And now we have to like you know, you really love Lauryn Hill. That's somebody that you really look up to. We've been miseducated, and now we have to relearn and unlearn a lot of things, right? And one of the biggest things out of our faith, right, and what we believe in is our style of relationships. So do you feel like due to that, you know what I mean, that one, we need to start doing that, and two, do you feel like that's always given us a lot of, you know, problems in our day-to-day life? You know what I mean? And how can we correct that?
Say the question together. I get where you're coming from, but say the question together one more time.
Do you think our people have a hard time in our relationships due to the fact that we never chose a style in how we do our relationships, whether it comes to family, intimate friends, intimate partners like spouses, or even our siblings or our cousins or anybody else? Like, we never chose how we want to live in relationships. Mm-hmm. We were just given all these rules, and now we have to follow them. So,
yeah. Is that the question? Is that the full-blown question?
Yeah, that's a full question. I'm sorry, maybe my mic went out, but yeah, that was the full question.
I don't understand the question.
Oh, okay. No, I was saying, do you think our people have a hard time in relationships because we never got to shows how we do relationships? Like, we never got to shows, like, you know, how we live with our families, right? Like the family dichotomy. We never got to shows like the intimate relationships between men and women or whoever. And we never got to shows how we live amongst like our siblings or our family or our cousins. You know what I mean? We're just doing what we've been told to do from the colonizer and the oppressor. And how do we change that? Right? What is the solution to change that?
That's the whole motto where it came from. Be the change you want to see. And if you don't see the good in the room, be that. If you don't see that, because there's been a lot of times that's how I got to where I didn't act like I didn't see it. I just was the example of how to be. And I am so demanding in how I am because I'm intellectual like that. I can get in someone's head and make and have them and to feel the aura that I'm feeling, to where they're only going to interact with respect and honor to me. You know what I mean? I think that is what indigenous people are about. unbreakable. You know what I mean? You cannot break the soul of a person. You know, that's theirs. And I think just being that change, being the change you want to see. We can look at our past, you know, of how we were raised and all the dysfunctional, but there has to be a solution. And I'm a solution person, you know. And the problems that do come across that I can't do nothing about it, I will refer or tell somebody about somebody, you know, network somehow, you know, not leave that need unmet, you know. And I've done a lot, you know. I can't even sit here and tell you everything I've done about things that I've seen and actually getting on the board with it till I can be about it, you know. But yeah, just being that change and how M3 said, you know, you really just it takes one smile, maybe one smile in the room, you know what I mean? Because I don't know, that's just my motto, is that everyone I come across, I just want to be light. I want them to feel that, you know, and just the way it sounds, ease, you know, ease, help, you know. I just try to be, help me out.
Well, let me ask you a question, okay? As much as your goal, right, is to be a light to someone, has there been any friend or relative that's been in your life that helped brought life back to you when you were at your lowest points?
That's a personal question, but has there been, because of how I knew my worth and how I perceived to them? Yes, but not in the way that you may think support may look.
Okay.
You know what I mean? No, it wasn't like a hand or I hand this to you or I lift you up and I'm going to pick you out of it. No, it was me actually doing something about it with the God in me, helping me get through it, to be honest. But that was also the tenacity of what got me up. Was like, wow, nothing can, at a certain point, nothing can knock me down, because I'm going to get up. And when I get up, I'm going to know exactly, I'm going to learn, you know, I'm going to learn more about you, of how you are, and not to do that again in that way, and know to count on myself, you know, to flock with those people, because family is not just blood, you know. You create family how you want to create it, because we are creators. We are creators. So it, I may not be close to my immediate, but I have many sisters, many brethren everywhere. You know what I mean? By my interactions, and a lot of us I know have those type of experiences, maybe worse. But me being a light is just saying that I don't want to be part of the problem. I want to be part of the solution. You know.
I'm glad you said that, M3, because you know, Christ said, you know what I mean, he said, my family are those who are loyal to me. And that's what real family needs to be. It needs to be people who are loyal to you. And I'm glad you touched on that, because that's big, that's huge. Those are your real family. They got to be loyal to you. You feel me?
No. I definitely like agree to it. Which that's gonna that actually fuels into my next question as well. And thank you for saying that, Mr. Best, because well, not even a question, more like a statement. Because in relatability,
I only have like 2 more minutes. I would say, because I have to go run someone to work.
That's perfect, because I know like we didn't want to like kind of keep you longer for too long. At least probably up to like, you know, if it was like an hour and 15 minutes or hour and 30 minutes, depending on you. But I'll make this quick, and it's just like a statement. By the end of it, right? You know, you have the power to choose who you could relate to as family. I get the old saying that, you know, this blood is supposed to be thicker than water, and no matter how this person's treating you, this person's your family, so you're supposed to act like family. However, let's not negate the ones who actually, and that's why I was asking these questions, like the ones who actually adopted us to be our brother, to be our sister, to be our brother and sister's keeper,
Yes.
to really uplift us, because you know why? Love, okay, is what makes families together, not blood, not by flesh.
Yes.
But yeah,
I like
I'm
that you said
glad. Thank you. I just want to kind of end that part off on that, but you know, I know you have to go, so I don't want to like hold up on your time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just end the live stream. But Dani, do you have any last words that you want to say to the people in chat?
Yeah, gratitude. And yeah, I'm just gonna say, my name is Divine Dani, and if you want to know more, follow me on my page, I guess.
Okay, that's what's up.
Sister Dani, thank you for blessing us with your presence. I'm gonna reach out to you about some more stuff behind the scenes. All right, and
Yes.
yeah, I'll reach out to you tomorrow, and we'll definitely be speaking some more. All right, but thank you for blessing us with your strength, your confidence, and your love, and we will definitely be tuned in later. All righty, peace and love, sister.
All right,
sure.
Salute to y'all.
Salutes to you as well. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. So everybody,
Salute.
give a warm shout out to Divine Dani. Okay. We're gonna definitely and hopefully we'll see her again in our other upcoming live stream shows. Anyways, thank you, Mr. Best, for just bringing her into like the family circle. And chat, we are definitely out. So get the likes up. Major shout outs again, right, to the people who have tune in, and major shout outs to Sophisticated Jerk again for the $10 super chat. So it's never too late to donate, even when the live stream is over. So, anyways, everybody, thank you so much, and we are out. Peace, everyone.
Knowledge and relationships